And welcome in to Third Thursday, even though this is just the third Tuesday. The show will be live on Third Thursdays for the rest of the month, but since this month it was Thanksgiving, we are just going to be moving it to Tuesday. So today I have my lovely co-host, Mary Beth Hunt. She's my niece, and I have some other special guests that are going to come on later. Today we are going to be chatting about the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and all the wonderful preparations. So what are you doing for preparation?
We are preparing the household, and we are decorating for Christmas, and we are cleaning up, and we are focusing on getting all of our chores taken care of. So the children and I have been tackling many projects, and one of the projects has been to get the downstairs back to their rooms and getting their toys upstairs. And when they're not taking care of their responsibilities, one project that I found that has worked very successfully in our household is the uh-oh box. And I ask them to take their stuff upstairs. What is left downstairs becomes mine in the uh-oh box. And when it's placed in the box, they have to choose a chore. And once they choose the chore and complete the chore, then they can earn one of their items back out of the box that they need to take back to their room immediately. And then they can keep. And we have found great success with this in the house. I'm not tripping over toys anymore, and our two Great Danes aren't eating their toys anymore because they definitely do not want it to wind up in the uh-oh box, and they do not get excited about the chores either that they have to choose from. So,
well, I love that. I wish I'd followed the uh-oh box when my kids were little. That would have been nice. It would have been a good thing to do, but I love that. I think that's a great idea, and for all the wonderful moms out there that are listening today, I hope you will start your own uh-oh box, because does it work?
It works successfully, yes, definitely. And Annie, as of right now, was doing one of her chores because she wanted her DS back. And it wound up downstairs, and so she was working on a chore just a few minutes before the show to get her DS back.
And Drew?
Drew was choosing to play outside, but he had a couple items in there that he was asking for, and I explained to him what he needed to do to earn it back. So he's still contemplating which chore he needs to do to earn his back.
Okay. Well, that sounds
But
good.
it keeps it from turning into a war and a fight and an argument, and it keeps it from getting into a heated argument. So
I love that. I love that a lot. That's a good thing. So let me welcome you in a little bit. I forgot to tell you who I was. I think you saw it in the opening credits that I'm Rebecca E. Parsons, and I am an artist and an author and a radio show host. And this is my second attempt at television. So I do have an online magazine. I do have two successful online radio shows on Blog Talk Radio. And now this is the third piece to that media puzzle that I've been trying to put together for several years. So I'm excited that you all are joining us today. And we're just going to give you a little look into some of the stuff that we do. And I've got a couple of guest stars who have made videos for us to share. We're going to do some Christmas tags and some Christmas bags to show you some wonderful little things a little bit later on. I've got another niece of mine who is going to share her gumbo recipe, and it is going to be done with turkey this time. So you might have some turkey left over after Thanksgiving, and we're going to share a way that we can get that taken care of in a little bit unusual way. It's also really good for tailgating. So it'll be good for all those ball games you're watching this weekend. So let's just get started with one of our first little things here. It was done by the wonderful, wonderful Lisa Fulmer is going to share how to do these beautiful gift tags with you.
Hey everybody, I'm Lisa Fulmer, and today I'm going to show you how to make really cute gift tags that look like little window panes, and we're going to be using recycled Christmas cards. Let's get started. First, you want a selection of old Christmas cards. Save your old Christmas cards. Don't throw them away. And all you want to do is take the fronts off, and you can be punching all kinds of cute little designs out of these cards. You need a punch. This one is really nice and ergonomic, and it's a nice 1.5-inch square, which is perfect for a window pane. You need a black chisel tip marker. You need a smaller hole punch for the top of the tag. You need some twine. You need some glue. A rubber stamp would be cute. This is a snowflake. And a couple of colors of stamp pad ink. So I've got red and green here. And a cosmetic sponge. So I'm going to start with this card. And I like this one because it has a lot of detail and a lot of really small images. There's a cute little house and a cute little present. And there's lots of little things that will fit quite nicely into each of these squares. So first I'm going to trim a little of the edges off so that I can get in there a little deeper. And then I'm going to take my square punch and I'm going to capture a little of these candles. Set that aside. And I really like this little rocking horse. So I'm going to grab that. And just be careful where you're cutting in case there's something right next to it that you might want to also cut out. Alrighty, and I think I really would like to grab Santa's face. I'm going to need to cut in a little bit to get to that. Okay, and here's Santa's face. I really like this style of punch because you can see exactly what you're punching. And we need one more, and why don't we go, there's a cute little Raggedy Ann doll down here at the bottom. So now we have our 4 images, and to make them look like a window pane, we mark the edges with a black marker. You want a nice black chisel tip paint marker, and you're going to take the edge, and you're just going to run the edge of your marker right along the edge of the square. And that little black edge is what's going to help it really pop right off the page. But you're just going to take a rectangle, whatever size you want that will fit 4 of the squares, whatever size punch you have, and you can just lop off 2 corners to make a tag shape. You're going to want to take your hole punch for the cord at the top and punch a little hole up at the top. And now let's ink this up. You can use your stamp pad just like paint. Take your cosmetic sponge and dip, and we're going to first rough up the edges, and we're just going to run that right along the edge. And we're just going to give it kind of a distressed look. Then we're going to come in and just rub some color all over the card. And let's decide where we want to set these. I think I want to put the candles in the corner and Santa in the upper right. You can use a dry adhesive, but one thing that I like about using regular glue is that you have a little moment or two to reposition the square to get it just right. So I would line up the top of my first square with the corner of your tag here and just eyeball it to see that it's straight. Give it a press. And then you want to just make sure you're working with the same margins on the left and the right, and that will help dictate the width of your window pane in the center. And just position it so that it's straight alongside each edge. Okay, so now you've got your window pane all glued down, and now we're going to accent the edges with a little bit of stamping. We're going to work on a piece of paper underneath because we're going to stamp off the edges. So I'm going to use my green with my snowflake, and I'm just going to come in and put a few falling snowflakes along the edges. And you're just going to catch a couple tips of the snowflake along the border, most of it stamping outside the card. That's going to give you a cute little texture and pattern around the edge of your window. While your card is drying, we're going to trim some cord and fold it in half and do an overhand knot at the end. And then we're going to feed this loop through your card and then feed the end through the loop. And now you've got a completed gift tag. Really, really cute on the front. On the back, you can stamp a couple more snowflakes and write your to and your from. Isn't that a great way to upcycle your old Christmas cards? Have fun with that.
That was cool, Lisa. I love that.
I loved it
That was really neat.
I think that's going to be a fun project in our household.
I think so. I think we're gonna be able to make plenty of those before Christmas. Do you still get a lot of Christmas cards?
Yes, we do, and we keep them too year after year. So,
and it would be a good way to just save those memories too, wouldn't it?
It definitely would.
Mm-hmm.
And Annie's all into recycling. That's the big school talk. So she comes home wanting to recycle everything. So she'll really enjoy that.
She'll love that. So that is a project I think the kids can help you with too. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. All right. So I love that, Lisa. Thank you so much. So next we're just going to dive right into a really cool way to turn a manila envelope into a little envelope box for a present. And that is by Miss Sin Gagan.
Hi everyone, I'm Sin from Creative Synchronicity, and I've got a creative gift wrap idea to share with you for the holiday season. I'm going to show you how to make these really cute gift bags, and you might be able to guess what I've made them from. That's right, it's just a standard envelope. You can use pretty much any size. This one's about an 11 by 13, but the smaller you get, it gets a little trickier with the folding, but you can still do it. I've made some pretty small ones to use as table favors as well. So let's get started, and I will show you how to make these. Let me just move my camera down so that you can see my work surface. So I've just, like I said, I've just got a standard envelope, and all I've done is I've cut off the top portion. I'm using one of these decorative pairs of scissors, but you can just use a paper cutter or any kind of plain scissors that you want. And you just want to get rid of that flap so that you have an opening to your bag. I'm just going to set that one aside for a second, and I will show you on this one some of what I did for the embellishment. Simple, just gathered some things from around the house. There's all kinds of things you can use to decorate this with. I've got a toilet paper tube that I've kind of squished. It almost forms like this leaf or petal shape to it. I've got some makeup sponges, some bubble wrap. This is just some of that mesh that you get some fruits and vegetables in. Any of those are really simple to use for this, and you could, again, find them around your house and it won't cost you anything. So let me just show you. One of the nice things about this one, if you use the toilet paper tube, is that if you get it, you can use it with green paint, and it will be, and I'm just using, by the way, just a standard acrylic craft paint. It doesn't have to be any kind of special type. Just even the inexpensive ones that you find at the dollar store work really well. So if I use green paint on this, makes a nice leaf, but I found that if I did it this way, with some red paint, get a little more paint on there. Whoops, had a little drip there. I can make almost like a poinsettia shape. So then I could find something round, a bottle cap or something like that, get some yellow paint, stick it in the center, and make the center of my flower. And that makes for a really pretty effect on here. If I want to use some of this, it gives me kind of a stippling effect there. So I'm just going to use a stiff brush here. And let me grab some paint. I'm going to use a different color so you can see. And I'm just loading with paint, and then I'll bring my palette over here. I'm just stamping off some of the excess because I don't want it to go on too thick. It's better to apply a bunch of thinner layers and build up that way. If you get the paint through there too thick, you may not get the stippling effect because it'll just kind of glob right through all these little openings. And let me just put this aside, and then I can bring that up there to the camera so you can see a little bit more of the stippling effect there. So that's kind of fun as like a background or to add texture to what you're doing. The bubble wrap, you can either use a paintbrush and paint it on, or you can just kind of wad it around your fingers and dip into some paint. So again, you want to dip in and then you want to get rid of some of the excess because you don't want it going on too heavily, or you lose that kind of bubble appearance to it. And then, of course, the makeup sponge, use a little, just can get some fun shapes in there. And wouldn't this be fun to do with the kids? You know, just put them down with some paints and a bunch of supplies. Or if you want to dress it up a little bit more and not really into the painted appearance, you could certainly use some really pretty rubber stamps. You could glue ribbons on here or cut slits through and weave them in, glue on some buttons. The possibilities are endless as to what you could do with this. Okay, so I'm going to get that one out of my way since it's wet. And I'm just going to show you just on this plain one. Obviously, you would want to decorate it on all sides and then let it dry thoroughly before you go on to do anything with it. But I'm just going to show you on this plain one because I think it'll show up better. So what you want is you want a good ruler. You want to draw some lines about 1 inch wide, but basically I just use the width of the ruler because that works well for me on this particular size of envelope. Now, I'm just measuring from the edge. I'm just placing it here along the long edge. I'm going to do the same on the other edge of the envelope. Here's my opening up here. And draw a line here. And then I want one at the bottom as well. Now, obviously, if you're doing a much smaller envelope, you know, if you're doing like a 4x6 envelope, this is going to be much too wide a measurement, so you're going to have to cut that down in proportion to the size of the envelope you're working with. Okay, so I've got 3 different pencil lines that I've drawn here. I did not do one up here at the opening, okay? So where each of those lines are, you want to make a fold. Now, I'm just going to fold along here. If you have a bone folder, go ahead and use it. You want to get a decent crisp fold. I'm just using my fingernail. This metal ruler comes in handy too. I could use that. And then I like to bend it back the other direction and do the same thing so that I just get as crisp a fold as I possibly can. You know, you can probably find something, if you don't have a bone folder, find something like I did, like the metal ruler or something else like that around your house, and use that. And that should work just fine. Because they don't have to be, you know, the sharpest creases ever. You just want them to be really good ones so that you're going to be able to maneuver this into the gift bag afterwards. Okay, so I've done both of the sides. Now I need to do the bottom. Flip it the other way so I'm sure that I get it as crisp a fold as I can get. Okay, so I've got all my folds in place now. Now, what I'm going to want to do is I like sticking my hand inside for this next part. And you're going to be working here. Here's the original fold, the original edge of the envelope. And here you can see the fold line I've made and the other fold line that I've made. So what I want to do is I want to start working this in. I want their original fold to fold the other direction. So right now it's a hill. I want to turn it into a valley. And I want it to go onto the inside like that of folds that I've made. So let me just give that a little press so that that's kind of in there and you can see, okay? So turned it from a hill to a valley. Same thing on this side. I'm going to put my hand down inside. You've got this hill fold here that was originally in the envelope, and I'm just pushing it in gently in between the fold lines that I've made. Sometimes it takes just a little bit of playing with it. You know, you got to kind of work it in the way you want it to be. Okay, and I've got that one on the inside. Now, it's not perfect yet because of the bottom. We've got to play around with the bottom a little bit too. So I just want to push the bottom up as we're forming the base of the bag down here. Okay, so it's going to be like a flat base. Let me show you on the finished one. This is what we're going to be ending up with, is a flat base so that your bag will stand up. So I'm just pushing it gently there so that now I've got these funny little flaps sticking out, these little triangular flaps sticking out. And what I want for those is I want some double-sided tape. Okay, so just any double-sided tape. And I'm just going to cut a couple pieces. I need one for each flap. So let's put one there. And again, I'm going to stick my hand in there so I can press from the inside with one hand and the outside with the other hand. So there's one done. Just kind of playing with these to get them the way I like it. Another piece of tape. Okay. All right, there's my piece of tape there. And I'm going to press that one down. And now I've got a flat bottom to the bag. And the bag will stand up. I just have to play with these folds just a little bit because I've got it kind of sticking up there a bit. But then your bag will stand up like this one does. Now, it stands up a little bit better when you've got something inside of it, of course. And you can see, because it's standing up as this open bag now, that's why you want to do all the decorating beforehand, before you actually do the folding, because it becomes very tricky now to try and work on it because it's no longer flat. Then what I want to do is I want to close it somehow. I could put slits through here, weave some ribbon through, tie a bow, have it close that way. I can fold it down. I've done it where I've glued on a button here, and I used like a good hot glue for this button here and tied the strings around it. You can certainly, if you can find some of those pretty colored staples, you can staple across the top of it. For this one, you can see that I just simply punched a couple of holes there. And then I've got this pretty Christmassy colored, it's a cord, but it's the kind with the wire inside of it. So I ran that through, attached a few little jingle bells. I've got a little clay kind of ornament attached to it. So there's an extra little gift there, and that will hold it closed as well. Chenille stems work really well for this. I mean, again, the possibilities are endless. You could just tie it closed with a bit of ribbon. You can even just leave it, I've done them before, where I've left it just open here at the top and, you know, put in some tissue paper to stick out the top of it. You can even add some ribbons as handles, or you can just leave it as is. And there you go. You are all set for wrapping your holiday gifts. Thanks very much, Rebecca, for having me, and I hope everyone enjoyed this.
Thank you, Sin. That was fun. I love that. I never even thought that you could turn a manila envelope into a really cute little package. That was awesome, wasn't it? And if you see, I have replaced one of my guests today. This is my niece, my other niece, Leanne Felty. She's a newlywed. She's just a new bride. So, but she is an excellent cook. So she is going to share one of the favorite recipes of hers, and everybody wants Leanne to cook gumbo, and especially for tailgating parties, right? Is that where it started?
Yes, we live in Morgantown, West Virginia, which is home of the WVU Mountaineers, which is a big football city. So I started cooking this about 4 years ago, and have really developed it to what it is today, and we all love it. So hopefully you will too. We usually use chicken, but today we're going to use turkey, just for all of those leftovers. If you don't want to redo the meal, you can have something different. So I'm going to read the recipe list for you first. You're going to need 2 kielbasa, 1 large onion, 1 red, yellow, and green pepper, 4 cans of chicken and rice soup, 4 cups of water, 1 can of beer, turkey or chicken, Worcestershire sauce, soy sauce, teriyaki sauce, 1/4 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of oil, 2 cans of diced tomato with jalapenos, Creole seasoning, salt and pepper, and hot sauce of your choice. And you're first going to begin by dicing up the kielbasa. We like quarter rounds, and throw it into a skillet with your onions and your peppers. The great thing about this recipe is you can cook it the way you like it. We love large chunks, so that's what we choose. If you want smaller, you're more than welcome to do that. We throw it into a large skillet and let it brown for about 5 or 10 minutes. Once it's brown, then you need to put it into a large soup pot, and then you throw in your 4 cans of chicken and rice and 4 cups of water and start letting that simmer. In another skillet, you need to add the 4th cup of flour and 4th cup of oil, and you need to heat that on high and let it burn. It is called a roux, and it's the key ingredient to this recipe. Once it is brown, you add it to the soup pot, and you'll hear it simmer, and it's really just fabulous, actually. Once that's done, you can add all of the other ingredients. That's the great thing about this recipe is, you can cook it to your choice. All of the sauces and seasonings that you add to it, you add to what you like to taste, and I eat as I go, which is why I'm never hungry after I've already cooked it. So it's a great thing to do. And also another thing with this is, when my husband and I got married, he brought in the jalapenos and the hot sauce to it. So that's the great thing about with your family. If you have a special thing that you would like to add to it, it always makes it better. I've never had something in it that makes it worse. So just, cook it to your liking, and I hope you all enjoy it.
And it is delicious.
Yeah.
I shared this recipe with a few little additions. I'm the one that added the beer to it when I shared it on Creative Compass last year during a tailgating party I was having. So, and I actually added that into the roux with the flour and the thing instead of using, what do you use in it?
Flour and oil.
You add a liquid to it after you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I put the beer in the liquid into the roux when I was doing it. So, and it turned out delicious too. So just play with it. You can really do just about anything you want in there. And it's awesome for tailgating. That's the best thing, I think, because it's easy to do and it's easy to take and easy to keep warm. So people love that.
And I have lots of people always asking me for the recipe, but my one rule is I will not give you the recipe unless you cook it with me. So you're very lucky, because that's how I learned it, was I cooked it with the lady that I was very close to.
Oh, good. So I love it, and I love this family time. I am in West Virginia this week for back home with my family, and this is my sister's beautiful home, her dining room that we're coming to you live today from. So I want to thank all of those people for providing me this space, and my 2 lovely nieces for helping me out today. I also want to thank Sin for her great gift bag, and I want to thank Lisa for her great gift tags. They can always be counted on. They both have wonderful websites that you can go and see, and they both also do their own video shows, and they have lots of videos on YouTube to look at. So check them out on YouTube. And next month, hopefully, I will be back on third Thursday, and every third Thursday from then on, to give you a little bit of DIY and creativity and art and crafts and food and blogging. We're going to just do a little bit of everything. So come on back and make something with me, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining in.